Somebody said to me today, what's the point? I'm 1 in 8 billion. What is the point? We are each just 1 in 8 billion. What is the point for any of us to do anything? How do we find some sort of meaning and any way to hold ourselves at any value when we're constantly comparing ourselves to people that we see absolutely crushing it in life, like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Kim Kardashian and all of these people that are just like seemingly superhuman? How do we even find value or worth in ourselves, right? And so when you're in that mindset, the question is, should I even bother? Should I even bother? What can I do? What do I have to offer? What is my place? And it can be a really dark space to be in, right? Where you just feel like you're kind of waiting to die, and why not just do it now? That's the question. Why not do it now, right? Why? What is it inside of you that makes you get up every day? What is it about your spirit that wants to live another day as opposed to just finishing yourself early? And I realize it's a little dark, but it's realistic. We all have days where we think, what is my point? What is my purpose? Why do I even try? What happened for me? I don't know, man. My whole life, I feel like I've been up against a world that didn't value me in any sort of way. When I look back with this new perspective that I have, I realize that I was subconsciously taught by the entire world around me, my friends, my family, parents, teachers, the things that I watched on TV, society. I was taught that there was a specific way we were supposed to do things. There was a specific way that would make sure, it would ensure us, absolutely, that life would be easy. It's easy when you fit in with kids. It's easy when you don't stick out from the crowd and give people a reason to pick on you. It's easy when you don't get outside of your comfort zone and you just do what is literally easy for you, right? But the thing is, that is what makes life harder. If we're constantly telling ourselves that we're wrong and we're going against what feels right, how else do we expect any sort of emotion to show up in our lives aside from discontent? Following along with what society wants you to do is a breeding ground for you to hate your life. And that's tough to hear. It's really tough to hear, like, oh, I was told to do this, but I shouldn't anymore because now it's bad. But it's not something that we should be upset about. You see, this is a beautiful opportunity to explore all of the dreams that you've always had. I find so many of us are living in fear. It's a fear that we can't quite understand, can't quite detect, because we're so used to it. We're afraid of doing what feels good to us, because somewhere along the line, we got in trouble for it. And so we remain afraid to even explore these parts of ourselves. But as an adult, this is your opportunity to do exactly that, to do all the things that you've always wanted to do, to explore the things that you've never gotten to explore. So I like to take people way back, way back, when you were a kid. And when you were a kid and you had alone time, what were the things that you liked to do? I like to remember back, I actually used to have a karaoke machine. It was like 2.5 feet tall, probably weighed 15, 20 pounds. I lugged that thing around everywhere. Outside, all over my house, down the street to other friends' houses. And I would play that boombox, that karaoke machine. I would play it as loud as I could. And I would choreograph dances. Or I would free spirit dance. Or I would sing at the top of my lungs. And I would pretend that I was whatever singer I was channeling. And I imagined that I was on a stage. I imagined myself to be this amazing performer. And then I would go and I would write stories. And I would use my wildest imaginations and come up with stories about all these kinds of people who I wanted to be. And people who overcame obstacles, people who were on adventures. So there's the singing, the dancing, the writing. And as life went on, I stopped singing. I stopped dancing, and I stopped writing. I stopped doing all of it. And I started to do the things that I thought I was supposed to do, the busy things, the things that we love to say, oh, I have so much on my plate, I'm so busy. Yes, life's so good because I'm so busy. I'm so successful. Busyness has nothing to do with success. And I started to realize that much later, after college, when I was working in my corporate career, my very first big, wonderful, fancy corporate jobs that I envisioned myself going on all these glamorous meetings and doing work that excited me, made me feel like a real badass. But that's not what happened at all. No, instead I was put in a room most times with no windows and way too much air conditioning, with food that was not healthy for me at all. And I didn't have time to work out. I didn't have time to do anything enjoyable. In fact, I barely had time to clean and cook and grocery shop and all of the other things that I needed to do to maintain my lifestyle, because I was just working at this glamorous job. And so I got completely disconnected, right? Completely. And I was just like, I'm running a freaking hamster wheel. It doesn't stop. There's no way to get off unless you jump off. And that's a leap of faith, right? It's scary. What if you jump off the hamster wheel and you go tumbling down the hill into a river, swept away over a waterfall and never to be seen again? Right? It's a dramatic metaphor, but in all reality, that's what it feels like. It feels like you need the job and the lifestyle that you have. It feels like there's no way out. There's no stopping the machine. And if you stop it, you're going to lose everything that you know and love. But that's not the reality. That's just what we're conditioned to think, right? And sometimes maybe it's on purpose. Sometimes people are trying to get us to think certain ways and do certain things so that we can be protected, we can be provided for, we can be taken care of, we can fit in, we can not cause waves, all of those things. And sometimes it's completely unintentional. It's just an unfortunate side effect. And so if all of that is unintentional, it's a side effect, what do you do about it? How do you get past it? The answer is quite simple. You have to fall in love with yourself. You have to date yourself and treat yourself and do all of those beautiful things that you always hoped somebody else would do for you. There's so much power in being able to bring your own joy into your world. So much power. You're not relying on anyone. You're making it happen for yourself. You know how badass that is? Independence is a good thing. It means that you're always going to be taken care of. And it also means that you're strong enough to take care of other people if they need it too. Being independent is powerful. Being independent gives you freedom. So many of us have become so codependent. It's reflected everywhere in our society. We like relationships. We like pairs. We like partnerships. And sure, they can help you and propel you to move forward, but only if you are bringing something incredible to the table, like what you're expecting from the other person. You see what I mean? To have a great partnership, an interdependent partnership instead of a codependent partnership, means that each person is bringing something incredible to the table to alchemize into miracles. So what are you bringing to the table right now? If you can't provide your own joy, you're constantly searching outside of yourself. And if you're not searching for joy and you're miserable, well, you're not going to be able to create miracles. You have a very specific reason for being here on this planet. And I know it feels insane. I know it feels like there's absolutely no connection. There's 8 billion people, and you. We are all of nature. We are all of the same material. We all turn to dust eventually, and we all get repurposed. We all get composted into new life and new creation on this planet. We all have our role, just like every bee, every butterfly, every spider, every bird, every bear. Everybody has their own role. But if you're in a space where that's not making sense to you, it's not feeling good to you because you just can't get past the statistic of being 1 in 8 billion. Know that there are resources to help you. And whether or not you feel it now, if there's some sort of inkling in you that you want to have something better in this life, if there's any sort of inkling, then I urge you to get in touch with somebody who can help you figure that out. Somebody who really gets you. And it's so quick for us to say, nobody gets me, nobody understands, nobody knows my pain, they haven't been in my life, they haven't experienced what I've experienced, they don't know what's going on for me, there's no way they can help me out of this because I'm just 1 in 8 billion. My dear, there are so many things that you don't know. And you're never going to know them until you can open up your mind to explore them. If nothing else, think about your life as a video game or an action movie, an adventure movie. A massive exploration on the hunt for gold, the hunt for treasure. Are you going to take the quest? Are you brave enough? Do you believe in the treasure? Do you think it's real? Are you like a Captain Jack Sparrow? Are you like one of the many characters Nicolas Cage has played? Are you like any of the heroes, any of the adventurers that we've seen in any movies ever? Aren't you just a little bit curious? Take a step. Follow what intrigues you. Spend more time being still and quiet with yourself and understand what it is about this planet that you feel some sort of connection to. Not an emotional connection, a connection of existence, a connection of being, a purpose for life. What is it? Is it music? Is it raising a child? Is it painting? Is it as simple as feeding your dog or your cat? As long as you can find one thing that's a breadcrumb along the path to more. The problem is you don't know yourself as well as you could, as well as you should, or as well as you think you do. You have to fall in love with yourself. You have to date yourself. You don't need to force it. It doesn't need to happen right now. But get curious. Go ahead. Dress up. Take yourself out. Literally. Date yourself. It's quite fun. You see what you find. If you love doing things with other people, what you find when you do them alone is that there's nobody else to make the decision for you. And you're forced into a situation where you have to decide for yourself. And it can be very, very uncomfortable, right? If you're not somebody that's used to choosing what the activities, if you're not somebody that's used to making the decisions or coming up with creative suggestions. This getting outside of your comfort zone and doing things alone and expanding your mind and pushing yourself to do something different, this is going to challenge you in a new way. It's going to open beautiful doors. I mean, seriously, what's the worst that can happen? You go out, you're standing in a plaza trying to decide between two different restaurants. What is the worst thing that can happen? You can go and eat the meal and not like the meal. Maybe you can get food poisoning. I don't know. What other worst things can happen, right? Like, just try things out. There's always another day tomorrow. The experience is where the value is. The experience is what is going to help you along your journey. It's not about the breadcrumbs that you pick up along the way. It's not about their level of significance or importance. It's about the experience that you have getting to know yourself, being uncomfortable, navigating through these situations that send your emotions into uncomfortable places. But by doing that, you're opening up the capacity for your mind to be challenged in a whole new way. And not just your mind, your body, maybe, your soul, your human spirit, your creativity, your sense of autonomy, your sense of personal power. Try it out.